I just asked Bud the exact same question, but I'm curious for you. Do you view this season as a failure?
Oh,
Oh my God. Okay, because I'm not that up. You asked me the same question last year, Eric. Okay. Do you get a promotion every year on your job? No, right? So every year you work is a failure. Yes or no? No. Every year you work towards something, towards a goal, right? Which is to get a promotion, to be able to take care of your family, to be able, I don't know, provide the house for them or take care of your parents. You work towards a goal. It's not a failure. It's steps to success. You know, and if you've never, no, I don't want to make it personal. So there's always steps to it. You know, Michael Jordan played 15 years, won 6 championships. The other 9 years was a failure. That's what you're telling me. I'm answering your question. Yes or no? Okay, exactly. So why you asking me that question? It's a wrong question. There's no failure in sports. You know, there's good days, bad days. Some days you are able to be successful. Some days you're not. Some days it's your turn. Some days it's not your turn. And that's what sports is about. You don't always win. Some other people's gonna win. And this year, somebody else is gonna win. Simple as that. We're gonna come back next year, try to be better, try to build good habits, try to play better, not have a 10-day stretch with playing bad basketball. You know, and hopefully we can win a championship. So 50 years from 1971 to 2021 that we didn't win a championship, it was 50 years of failures. No, it was not. It was steps to it, you know, and we were able to win one. Hopefully we can win another one. You know, sorry that I didn't want to make it personal because you asked me the same question last year, and last year I was in the right mind space to answer the question back.
He just made me fall in love with him. That is Giannis Antetokounmpo from the Milwaukee Bucks. I think I'm going to be rooting for them really hard next year. And that's so you get an insight into how I view people when you are someone in touch with your brain and your heart, and you are able to articulate things that I think help move the needle for all of us, because he put life in perspective in that 2.5 minute clip. And hats off to him. And English is not his first language, so he navigated that with aplomb. And I am so happy. And that was of course, Milwaukee Bucks superstar Giannis Antetokounmpo, who were eliminated yesterday by the Miami Heat, 128-126, which has to hurt, a 2-point overtime loss. But he put it in perspective. Seena Ghaznavi, welcome back to the Karen Hunter Show. He told you what life is. It's not wins and losses. There's steps to this. You know, so everything else is a failure. If we don't win this, he did that. And he didn't want to make it personal. So I saw him catch himself. This man has depth of character and all, I got chills listening to that, because it is a masterclass in how we should be living our lives. It's not wins and losses, it's experiences and steps to whatever it is that is successful in your mind frame. And for him, obviously, it hurts to lose, but that doesn't make us a failure.
For those that didn't see the video, watch the video, because he reacted how I react to most of things in my day, which is grabbing his face, putting his hands, shaking his head, trying to come up with something that's not like a scream right after. And he did an amazing job. But what I wanted to ask you, though, when you were a sports reporter, would a reporter have asked a question like that? Or do you think it's in the media?
Yeah, I think it's a function of inexperienced human beings. Because when I was a sports reporter, I was the youngest person at the Daily News at the time. I was 21 when I got there. And, most of the reporters were people who had lived, they were also mostly white men. So there was a power shift that happened. That is now the power's in the hands of the athletes. When I was coming up, there was no social media. Athletes had no power. They had no voice. They had no platform outside of the reporters. So reporters became famous, like Peter Vesey and all, so the reporters had all of the power because they were the way in which athletes got shaped, right? Today, athletes can shape themselves. Simone Biles has her own social media. Naomi Osaka can shape her own social media. So can Serena. They don't need reporters anymore. So they got to really tread lightly coming into these spaces, asking dumbass questions and get undressed. He got undressed by name. And Giannis was nice. Was like, let me not make it personal, but that's the dumbest question I've heard in a while. Like, and he's 20. Giannis is 26. He's 26 years old. So it's not like we're even talking about somebody that has lived a long period of time, but he has lived a long period of time in the spaces that he's been exposed to. And I feel like you're asking a question, and I'm going back to my 21-year-old self. Would I have asked a question like that? And I feel like no one gives you training. And if you're young, you're thrown into the locker room. I didn't get a blueprint for how to negotiate even my own agency in the locker room, asking questions. No one gave me a book on how to ask questions of athletes and who've just lost, but I was always sensitive because I'm a human being. So if I'm covering a plane crash or a fire where a grandmother lost her 3 grandchildren, I'm going to approach it like a human being in that same position. So I'm not going to ask you a question that's going to insult your intelligence, but also hurt you in the moment or make the situation worse. I'm going to be really sensitive. And I feel like this person did not even think about the question. Like the person that was, there's so much here. So, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I would I just want to follow up with another question actually is like, I'm actually trying to figure out what was the point of his question other than to get a rise and a bit.
A gotcha moment.
A gotcha, which is gross. So, okay. So that was going to be my question. And then actually like, how would you have asked? What would have been your question? Maybe would have been more open-ended?
I would always like, what lesson did you learn? The 2 points, that's got to be tough. What did you learn from this series? That you're going to take into next year. That's something that would force him to sit and think about. It's not, it's not accusatory. It's not, telling you you're a failure because you can't do what Giannis Antetokounmpo is doing. And it has nothing to do with him being 7 feet tall and all. Like, you can't do what the man is doing, but you can sit here and asking questions, which is why JJ Redick, ether folk, why saying you're making commentary about somebody's injury and you've never been in this situation and you're going hard in the paint saying somebody should retire and you don't even understand what this is. I agree, and this is why I'm railing right now on all fronts in terms of journalism, media, all of this stuff, because we should demand that people who are in those seats, that they should do better or know better or be better. Yeah, I just think we should demand that.
I love JJ's response to them, by the way. I watched that as well. It's troubling to me that this is the landscape. When I remember watching this clip, I was like, even when I was growing up, there is 0 chance someone would have asked a question like that. That just feels wrong coming off. And frankly, too, Giannis has lived, I think his history of where he's come from gives him that poise, gives him that presence, right? Gives him that ability to just like, I'm not going to pop off right now. I'm honestly, if I was in his position, I might have teared up if someone asked me that question. I would be like, I am a failure.
But the fact that you asked that same question last year and he remembered.
Yeah, he remembered.
It's just like, you are out of your depth. You do not deserve to be you do not deserve to be in a position to ask questions of these people because you haven't stepped your game up enough to even be, you know what I'm saying? Like, I hate where we are right now. 866-801-8255 is the number.